What's up, everybody? Welcome. Welcome to the Lamont's Gym and Custom Knives Show, the number 3 podcast. Let me put my hat on. I feel naked without it. Oh, man. Just a couple of things today. I realized on the ride in on the mountain today that if you're a if you're a content creator, you got a lot of creation right now going on in the world. We, the United States of America, assisting in a regional war in the Middle East. Learning a few things on that. Lebanon and Hezbollah has entered the fight. Um, you got some other countries who say, "Hey, I want to stay out of this." They're forced into it because of what's left of the Iranian regime is just shooting missiles everywhere, and that tells you right there how evil these people are. When they said when they wished death upon America and death upon Israel, they meant it. That was not a lie. And I think a lot of people are coming around and seeing that now. It's a religious thing. It's something that they were taught from birth. And to be honest with you, you have a lot of people in this country, in our country, the United States of America, that believes that as well, and they're trying to kill it from within. Um, I think, in my opinion, you have enough American patriots, and I mean, when I say enough, that regardless of what political party you lean towards, you don't want to see this country fall. So I think the entities that are trying to kill it from within are not that great, but they are powerful. They're backed by millions and millions and millions of dollars. And in this world, money talks. People can be bought, and that's the sad thing about humanity. Um, and listen, I'm not gonna get off on a tangent, but I just want to say, if you love animals, if you live close to the animal world, I don't have any pets, but my neighbors got dogs, and there's a million birds and squirrels and possums and chipmunks and other animals. Just because I live in a wooded community, a highly wooded community, so you see a lot of animal activity. And we look at animals, dogs, cats, and all. We look at them as dumb, and they're not dumb. They're just doing what nature designed them to do. And as humans, which our brain is highly developed, we just get stupid sometimes. And so when I hear these animal lovers saying animals are better than us, I don't disagree with them. Because animals not act on instinct. They do what nature designed them to do, what God designed them to do, and it is what it is. But yeah, man, listening to the Minister of War, uh, Pete Hegseth, he mentioned that for the first time since World War II, a battleship was destroyed by a torpedo. That was pretty awesome. Israel, they did something that hasn't been done in a long, long time. As far as their air defense. And listen, I remember back when I was a sophomore in college. I want to say I came home. I had to go to Gaston State to get my grades up, but I boxed out at Fort McClellan. I was my coach was Sonny Gunnels. You can catch him on Facebook, Coach Sonny Gunnels. Shout out to you, Coach. Um, and I remember meeting tons and tons of Israelis. They were actually training at Fort McClellan. This one would be 92, 93 sometime, right in there. They were training. And this is back when there was nothing to see 15, 16 Black Hawks or whatever the powerful helicopters were back in the day, in the air. It was nothing to see fighter jets flying. Hell, we had Fort McClellan here. We had one of the world's largest stockpile of bombs out there at the igloos on Anderson Army Depot. So this area was heavily military, and you had a lot of soldiers from around the world being trained. But at this point in time, it was Israelis, and these were some bad boys. And I remember one guy, can't remember what outfit he was in with the Air Force, or maybe an army. I can't remember. But they said, these Israeli guys, they're some bad boys when it comes to fighter jets and actual warfare in the air. And I thought that was pretty awesome. So we're actually seeing it now. Those guys probably retired and gone on to glory because, like I said, that was 30 some odd years ago. But the bloodline and the will to protect your country when you're surrounded by enemies, you want to be the best. So shout out to them. On the American front, a lot of things are going on when it comes to investigations, federal investigations, fraud investigations, etc., etc. I have not kept up with that. I've kind of been on the go for the last 3-4 days. I haven't had time to even sit down and breathe. To be honest with you, I've made a couple of podcasts, but just to sit down and watch news and etc., I haven't had the time. But I got a few things I got to get done, and once I do that, I'm gonna try to get a little catch up on the news and everything. But I did see where the governor of Minnesota and the attorney general they had to go before Congress. President Clinton and his wife had to do depositions in front of Congress. I think theirs was videotaped or something in New York. But yeah, there's a lot going on in this country, man. So if you're a reporter or independent journalist or content creator, you have a lot on your plate dishing out the news. And I'm gonna be honest with you, other than Newsmax, Fox News, and a couple of our local affiliates out of Birmingham and Atlanta, I don't deal with any other news sources except independent media and content creators. So and if you're on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, that type of thing, do you consider yourself content creator or independent media? Yeah, because you have a lot of old school journalists that hates that. They hate that you have independent. Excuse me. You have guys who consider themselves independent media when they don't have a journalistic degree. But listen, that's neither here nor there for me. I'm neither. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a content creator. I'm just an idiot who wants to voice his opinion on his own platform. And you can check me out on YouTube, the number 3 podcast. You can check me out on Twitter, the Conversationalist, the Football Guy, and on Facebook it's Harvey Lamont Ritchie, Vailmont or Harvey Ritchie. So yeah, locally we're in some areas in the state of Alabama we're battling with these data centers, man. There's a big fight, I think, in Bessemer, Alabama, where they're fighting to not allow the data center to come up. But Mayor Woodfin of Birmingham said that, nobody talked about it. They actually had 4 already in existence. I did not know that. So, that's something to think about, talk about. I may have mentioned this on a earlier podcast, but At Hibbett's in Oxford, Alabama, they had a shooting, and the shooting was over tennis shoes, sneakers, some kind of new sneaker coming out. I've never been a shoe head, a sneaker head, never, ever, ever. When my mom bought me my first pair of Nikes when I was in junior high, I was 13 or 14. I didn't want them. I wanted something comfortable on my feet. The only time I wore sneakers is when I was doing something athletic. Other than that, I was either barefoot or in I forget what they're called. They were a cheap form of like a loafer, like a penny loafer kind of without the penny slot. They say Michael Jackson wore them to do the moonwalk, but I don't believe that. But anyway, here we bought them at some cheap store, and they cost about $8. And they were just comfortable to me. They were flat, but yet they were comfortable. I can't stand flat shoes, but they were comfortable. So I said all that to say this. I've never been a sneakerhead, so I can't imagine someone wanting to shoot somebody because of a spot in line to get some damn shoes. Now, if it was something that's going to save my family's life, yeah, I'll fight to the death. But it is what it is, man. So yeah, personally, everything's good. Everything's great. No issues, no drama. Thank God for that. I am picking up weight. I don't know if something's wrong with my digestive system. I've been eating a lot of steaks. I went to this new meat market in Oxford, Anniston, wherever it's located. Really didn't find too much. My wife was disappointed. And I asked the lady, I said, hey, do y'all have prime rib? And she went over there and she grabbed a pack of something. I said, damn, I was just over there. I didn't see it. And it wasn't prime rib. It was prime rib eye. And I said, what the hell? $60? Yeah, I'll take it. So it was two of them. And you said $30 for a ribeye, so it was two, so it was 60 some odd dollars. I'm gonna tell you something. Best ribeye I've had in my life. I cooked them myself. I slow cooked them in the oven. Best I've had in my life. So I probably will be going back there to purchase some more ribeyes. Um, that's the first time I've ever seen a marbled ribeye, perfectly marbled, and you can tell that these cows were grain and grass fed because the meat was just tender. I did nothing to tenderize the meat, nothing. I just put seasoning on it, slow cooked it in the oven, 400 for about 30 minutes. And listen, I took a spoon and literally, because I had a plastic knife and a fork, I took a spoon and basically cut that ribeye into pieces with a spoon, a plastic spoon. That's how tender these jokers were, and the taste was unbelievable. So yeah, I found me a meat store now. They have tons and tons of stuff: buffalo, ostrich, camel. I mean, they have everything in there, man. But I'm just interested in the beef. I can get my chicken and everything else elsewhere, but yeah. Other than that, I have to. I don't know if I'm gonna have to. What's the word when you detox my system because I feel bloated. I feel swole head. I couldn't even put on my damn jeans this morning because I was so bloated. So I got to do something about that. But that's personal. But other than that, man, everything is great. And like I said earlier, if you into the news, if you're a journalist or content creator, dude, this is your time to live, man. You shouldn't have any problem putting um, content out. And I do want to say this, and I think I'm gonna end with this. I've been on here about 15 minutes. Um, Saw a video about 3 or 4 times, and I think it was it wasn't Dearborn, Michigan. It was Ann Arbor, Michigan, I believe, where some smoothie company that had two black female employees that denied an individual and his wife from purchasing because they felt threatened because he had a Trump hoodie on. And I've heard 2 or 3 content creators review this video, And somebody who actually lives like 30 minutes from Ann Arbor said that, listen, that's a very highly liberal place. But I don't care. Listen, I don't care if it's a liberal city, a liberal community, a liberal whatever. When you deny service to an individual because he or she is wearing something that you don't agree with, you don't own it. Now, if you own the company, that's one thing. But you don't own that company. You're representing either the corporate or the franchisee. And I think both of them were fired, and that's a good thing. But you just lost that company, that franchise money. People like this do not belong in public service, or belong servicing the public, I should say. If now, listen, I've been in public service for going on 30 some years. It's been a lot that I didn't agree with, a lot that I didn't like. And if you were breaking the law, I'll put you in handcuffs. If you were not breaking the law, you were just expressing your views or your opinion. It is what it is. I go on about my business. I don't have to be around you. You don't have to be around me. I go on about my business. You go on about your business. And now at my point of service, I'm getting ready to retire. So I took a lesser a position that is not in law enforcement. I still see many people. I still have to serve the public, and if I see something I don't like, it is what it is. You're not here to voice your opinion. I'm not here to go against your opinion. What you take care of your business, I take care of mine. We go on about our business. Because tomorrow I'm gonna still have my job. In another year and a half, 2 years, I'm gonna retire from the state of Alabama. I'm not finna wreck that just because shit you got on some kind of satanic shirt or devil horns coming out your head, or you a man in a dress. Dude, I don't care. None of that affects me. Makes me sick, but I'm not finna lose my position because of that. I'm just not. But anyway, I just wanted to share that real quick before I get out of here. Um, Listen, I don't know what part of the country you're living in or what part of the world, but listen, I'm here in Northeast Alabama, and it's absolutely beautiful. I've always growing up, I've always loved the wintertime when it's cold and when you pretty much sheltered. I just love that growing up. As I gotten older, you see the sun shining all day long, no clouds in the sky. It's giving me a different perspective. It's absolutely beautiful. And shit, probably in the next week or two, if the weather stays the same, I'm gonna get some gardening done. Get some stuff growing and get some grass cut. Right now, we ain't got nothing but weeds growing. My neighbor's entire yard is weeds, clover, dandelions, and crap I ain't never seen before. It's green, but it's not grass green. So yeah, right now we're gonna. I'm just gonna let my weeds grow. Let the clover grow. Let the dandelions grow. I'm actually gonna harvest dandelions this year. I've harvested them for the last 5 6 years, but I'm gonna put them with my spinach and my other greens. Listen, it's high in vitamin C, man. It won't kill you. It's good for you. I think the roots, the flower, and the stem and the leaves, all good for you. All high in vitamin C. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I don't know what to do with clover. I'm just gonna let it grow. I'm scared of clover. I see animals eat it. I'm not gonna eat it until I know for a fact it's not gonna kill me. But yeah, get out and do something, man. Get out and do something. Enjoy this beautiful weather. If you're in Northeast Alabama, if you're in the Northeast, New York, Pennsylvania, those areas, God bless you. I think y'all got some more cold weather and snow coming. We don't. Thank you. I think in the Midwest, I think y'all in the bullseye for some tornadoes and violent storms. So y'all stay safe. I think Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, those states, even Mississippi and Tennessee. Y'all stay safe, man. But other than that, listen, I appreciate you. I love you. I love you more than you ever know. Just for supporting me. Um, And as always, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, catch you next time.